Hello and welcome back to Witches of the Moon. I'm Eva Maria, your Monday hostess, and this is the beginning of Season 5. This week's topic, our first topic of the season, is going to be traveling spell kits. And I'm sure there's a whole lot we could say about these. But I'm just going to give you my take on these. And what I'm going to do as well, I'm going to link in the description of this video two videos that I did on my own channel a good while back. They regard how to make Altoids tin altars. And I know they're titled altars, but really they are like traveling spell kits, because inside of the little Altoid tin altars you can keep all sorts of little things that you feel you might want to use if you want to do some sort of a rite on the go or some kind of spell on the go. So that's going to be my take on that. So after you watch this video, be sure to check the description of this video for those links regarding the Altoids tin altars. It's a part 1 and not part 2. So yeah, that's where I'll show you the little DIY there. But first I'd like to address the question of why would anyone want a traveling spell kit? Which is essentially what, little traveling altars can be as well. Well, there are many situations where having something like that might be helpful. For example, if you're taking a vacation and you anticipate making time to maybe have like reverent periods to pray, to work with your deities, to do spell work, whatever, maybe you're going on a vacation that you want to have that with you for whatever reason, should you feel that you want to bring your spirituality, along as part of your experience. There's also, if you're going to a gathering, let's say you're going to, I don't know, another state or even just another location that's not necessarily in another state or country, but let's say you're going somewhere else to gather with others of like mind, and you're anticipating doing some spell work. Well, then a traveling spell kit would be pretty logical to bring with you. Or there are times, for example, when you're taking long stays away from home, such as going to college or things like that, maybe staying with someone for a few months, and of course you're going to want to bring some aspect of your practice with you, So there's many reasons why someone might want a traveling spell kit. And that said, then the question arises, are they really necessary? No, they're really not necessary. It's more of a preference or something that someone might like to have. It's really not something you need, because there are many ways to sort of practice on the go, on the fly, using kind of like just what's there, what you got, whatever. I mean, the sky's really the limit. And that aside, then there arises the question of how does one go about obtaining a traveling spell kit, should one want to have a traveling spell kit? Well, they can be bought commercially or they can be homemade, Nothing wrong with a DIY traveling spell kit. And along those lines, I will say that assuming that you plan to buy or make one, personally I think the format and the contents of your traveling spell kit, I feel that they should suit your needs and your working style, obviously. It wouldn't make much sense to get a tiny little traveling spell kit or to make a tiny little traveling spell kit if you're a person who likes to use a lot of things in your work. Maybe you can't fit everything in a small kit, or what goes into the kit as well matters depending on what you like to use. If, for example, you're not one to, let's say you're not a person who likes to work with candles, then putting candles in there really doesn't make much sense, or maybe where you're going, if you're going to college, they might be like, nope, no candles. Theoretically, you could use LED candles, but if that was something, let's say, you wanted to leave out, then obviously you would leave it out. It really depends on your needs and your working style and your situation. And another thing I'd like to suggest is that I think that how big, small, elaborate, or simple your traveling spell kit is, I think it depends also not just on your needs and your wants, but also on how open you are about your practice. If you're in the broom closet, for example, you might want something simpler with less conspicuous contents where you recognize what you're going to use them for, but maybe to the casual prying eye, it wouldn't really scream out that you're a practitioner of alternative faith or the occult or anything like that, you know? So that's another thing to keep in mind, It really comes down to what are your needs? How could that be, oh my God, I can't even speak. How could that traveling kit best suit you? What would your ideal kit be like, And some options, if you choose to DIY a kit, some options for containers that might make good homemade traveling spell kits might be, for example, sewing boxes, especially like those little ones with the fold-out drawers, cigar boxes, pencil boxes, Tupperware containers, craft boxes, tackle boxes, candy tins, Altoids tins, tea tins. The sky is the limit. Whatever container is reasonably portable, is of the right size to suit your needs and resonates with you, you can really turn any container into a portable traveling spell kit, if you really wanted to. So I think they're nice to have. As I said before, they're not necessary. And you don't need to spend a lot of money on these if you would like to have one. But I think one of the first questions you should really ask yourself if you plan on assembling one is, out of all the things that I like to use in my practice, or out of all the things that I tend to use in my practice, what sorts of things do I use more? Do I use crystals a lot? Do I use candles a lot? Do I use oils a lot? Do I do a lot of sigil work? Or, things where I need pen and paper, chalk maybe? Think about what you use a lot. Do you use a lot of tools? Might you want to see if you could fit like a little athame in there, or, maybe some other tool that you just happen to use frequently. Considering your path as well, the tools may even vary, depending what your personal path is. So yeah, you want to consider your practice style, your path. Yeah, just consider what you need or what you want, and then think about as well what would be the most practical way to incorporate that. For example, if you were saying, okay, I want to have a traveling spell kit and I want to bring candles, let's say. Well, you're not going to bring huge pillars. So then you would ask yourself, okay, depending on the size of your container, do you want to bring tea lights? Do you want to bring chime candles? Do you want to bring birthday candles? It's kind of like the process of formulating how you're going to put together your kit. Really, it's very personal, I think. And honestly, while I'm going to say, you know what, there's nothing wrong with buying nice commercially sold kits made by other practitioners. That's perfectly fine. That's great. If that's something that you want to do, if one of them calls out to you, then go for it. I personally, though, I like the idea of kind of putting a bit of yourself into your kit in a sense, tailoring it specifically to your own needs, because you really know how big or small your kit would ideally be for you. Some people would just want something pocket sized. For others, maybe like something like a makeup case, like a caboodles case, with like a sizable, compartments and little places to put all sorts of things. That might be something a little more practical for other people, or an art box, like those artists' box with all the little drawers that fold out. Something like that might suit someone else, while maybe a little zippered pencil case might suit someone else, depending on your needs. It's really very personal. So I think those are my thoughts to introduce this topic to you. And again, I encourage you to check out the links I'm going to have for you in the description of this video, where I share for you how you can make your own Altoids tin altars, part 1 and part 2. I hope you find them to be pretty good, pretty interesting. And I look forward to seeing what everyone else is going to bring forward this week and throughout this entire season. It's always so much fun here at Witches of the Moon, getting to hear everyone's, input on the given topics each week. Because, when one person speaks on a topic, sure, you hear about it, but you're only getting like that one perspective. I think it's so important to have a plethora of points of view, because then you get to kind of see all these different angles, things you didn't think about. So that's why I love Witches of the Moon, and I'm just totally excited to see how this season unfolds. So with that said, I'm going to wish you blessed be and ashe. You have an awesome day. And if you have any comments, anything you want to share or add, please feel free. Hit me up in the comment box. And I'll try to address any of your comments, questions, etc. as soon as I can, as best as I can, as fully as I can, as helpfully as I can. And until next week, until I see you again, till next time, bye-bye for now.